to the 9th Annual D80 Conference.
Hi, my name is Rachel Dougherty, and I've been with Engineering Warriors for about a year now.
And I'm Alex Lakin. I've been with Engineering Works for 2 or 3 weeks, closer to 3 now.
Okay, so a little bit about who we are. We're in a campus organization that does engineering projects in communities that need our help. And our vision is a world in which every community has the capacity to sustainably meet their basic human needs. Nationally, we're located in 45 countries around the world with 663 projects, but our chapter, we have 2 projects in Panama and Guatemala. In the past, we've worked with Bolivia, Honduras, and Grenada. This presentation, we're going to focus pretty much on our Guatemala project. We've been involved with the communities since 2006. The communities are Canton and Fronterizo, which are neighboring communities near the Mexican border. The communities were founded by Civil War refugees. It's about 300 people in each community. Before we started our projects, all of their water came from springs and hand-dug wells. You can see a picture of the hand-dug well here. I don't know how good the quality is, but it's pretty gross in there. Lots of stuff floating in there. The water quality was really poor, and the wells would dry up during the dry season. The projects are kind of twofold. We implemented wells, and also we focused a lot on community education, because the goal of our projects is for the communities to be independent of us. We really want them to be able to use the wells, understand what water would make them sick. And so we put on sanitation workshops. We did this in 2 ways. First, we got them really involved with the water testing we were doing in the community. We would explain the test procedures and what the results mean, what bacteria colonies were in their water, and we showed them the difference between boiled and not boiled water. And this worked well, but the next time we went to the communities, we decided to get a little bit more involved, and so we developed kind of a fair with games and discussion about sanitation, and we used the UNICEF participating approach. This is a lot more engaging, and we worked in the schools with the kids. We let them color pictures to show kind of what washing your hands before each meal, kind of how it helps, and yeah, happy after you wash your hands. So then we also did a workshop on how to repair the pumps in the wells. How we did that was we constructed a sample pump in front of them. We laid out all the pieces and explained what each one meant. We demonstrated the steps on how to put a pump together, and then we taught necessary pump maintenance. This is a schematic from the literature we used. It's obviously in English, but we just taught them which pipe to check, how often, kind of a thing. And we also taught troubleshooting techniques, so they could figure out if the pump's broken, why is it broken, how do we fix it. And we actually had the very successful. One of the pumps in Canton broke, and they were able to distinguish which part was broken and took necessary measures to get it back. Unfortunately, it wasn't available in within like 5-hour radius of the community, so the next time we go down there, we're gonna have to help them out with getting that part. And then also we appointed a water committee so that the community would feel that they have ownership over their wells, and they have someone who has the responsibility of taking care of our project. And here's some pictures of people using the wells.
So our most recent implementation trip was in 2010. And you can see here, this is where they dug the wells, and this is one of the wells in Canton. We sent down schematics and instructions to them to tell, they were supposed to have all the caissons ready for us when we got there with the materials. And when we got to Guatemala, the caissons were not done, and we thought that maybe we had sent them the wrong amount of materials that they needed, but we found out that they were just mixing it wrong, and so ran into quite a few problems when we got there, but they did get a lot of construction done while we were there. If you go to the next slide, and they hand dig the wells. So this is the schematics that we sent down for them to work with. So this is what they were supposed to look like. As you can see, Chorizo was able to construct the same kind of caissons that we had sent in the original design, and Canton's were a square shape. So as going to any kind of country to do these kind of projects, you just kind of have to go with the flow. If things don't go as planned, you have to figure out what to do next when you get there. And so these are just some pictures of them constructing the caissons in Chorizo and Canton. And to lower them in, they use like a pulley system. So they constructed these little, I guess I don't know if you'd call them a structure, but some kind of a pulley system. Then they would lower them down on these tripods. And if you want to go to the next slide. These are schematics of the wells. As you can see, they have an aggregate bed at the bottom, and then in the dry season, the water table is up here, and the concrete caissons go up, and then there's a concrete apron, and then the hand pumps at the top. So if something does break, it is kind of hard to fix it because it is all concrete, and so that they would have to break into the aprons to get down and fix it. And then the well in Canton is 11 meters deep, and the one in Chorizo is about 8.5 meters. So in 2014 was our most recent assessment trip, and as you can see, this is one of the pictures of the completed wells. The two in Chorizo are still working right now. One in Canton has been broken for a little while. They're unable to figure out what's wrong and get parts. So recently we've been looking into doing a project to come up with other well ideas or pump ideas. So if you go to the next slide, they've been using these shallow wells during the dry season, or during the wet season, I mean, and they're really contaminated, but it's easier access, and Canton doesn't have their deep wells working. So they're using these, and then they also have rain barrels that they're collecting rainwater from, and those actually had a lot of contamination in them as well. So, if you go to the next slide. In one of the private homes, they were one of the wealthier families in the community. They had implemented an electric pump system that they were paying for privately, because they just received electricity in the last 3 years. So they're pretty excited about that and trying to utilize it in any way possible. So in our, right now we're looking into ways that we can implement electric pumps into the communities and how the politics will work with that, how they'll pay for it, and if it's feasible, and where we can get the pumps and make it work for them.
In the future, we are looking to put in more wells, especially in Canton, because in the dry season, so many people have been using the wells that they just could not handle all the usage. So we are looking at that. We are also looking, like Alex said, at the feasibility of electric pumps. And any questions?
I know for us, like, we went and we have a Peace Corps volunteer in the village and kind of initiate things and translate. Is there Peace Corps volunteering in these villages?
No, we have our NGO who is actually lives in Hancock, and she's been a part of the communities for 20-some years now. She was down there with the Mexican Red Cross during the wartime and was living there to like be a protector kind of. So she has a really strong relationship with them. So she comes down with us on all of our trips and is kind of our translator and has a pretty strong relationship with the community, so she can help us form ideas of what they need.
You described that, so that I take it these are all hand dug, they're able to take these and,
Yeah.
safety issues with this thing collapsing or anything like that?
I know one of the wells did collapse quite a few years ago, so it didn't collapse on anyone, it collapsed after it was dug, but that was before my time, so I'm not sure about a lot of the details of that.
But the digging is done in the dry season, and it's a really stiff clay. The one that collapsed, it was during the rainy season. It wouldn't be down in the hole during the rainy season, but yeah, there are safety concerns.